Hey team, how we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and we're here. Yep. We're here today to welcome one platoon, Australian Army, one platoon. That basically encapsulates everyone who's about to join the Army at the commencement of winter in Australia. Does it snow there? No, but the frost looks like snow, feels like snow. You're not dressed for wet weather. It kind of sucks. How do you dress for wet weather? Cold weather, and still do your job? It's not easy. Welcome team, welcome Combat Demon, Bankster Gaming. We've got Lauren is here. Great to have you here, mate. I hope everything in your life is going really good at the moment. I'm trying deliberately not to distract you while you get that done, so you're not fighting on two fronts, so to speak. Andrew Lavender prances through the blossoms, smelling like daffodils. We've got the Guardian here. We've got 4x4 who's going for an operation tomorrow. Can we throw some well wishes out there? Looks like major surgery, and I hope it's going to be A-OK. You know, I myself, I love anaesthetic, but I have no problem with it. But big thumbs up for 4x4 driver there. G'day, Foxy. We've got Sim Man 85. G'day, Kaz. How you going, champion? Not too bad. I can't complain. My daughter's been kicking goals across the board, and I am really, really proud and happy. We've got AM. Good evening, mate. It is PM at the moment. However, we've got Lauren again. Hi to Foxy, the boss. Okay, he was born in Australia, not the USA, this one. And it's great to have him here. And he is 1 month off spending potentially the rest of his life off the grid. How exciting. And our channel will be, what do we call it? We're going to be sponsoring him for 1 night per month in a hotel with a packet of noodles, etc. Thank you very much from Patreon for that one. We've got Chris Davenport. My son is Kapooka in 11 Platoon now. Guess what, Chris? I was in 11 Platoon. 11 Platoon Bravo Company. Hallway 11. He'll get used to that every single morning. Jocks or boxer shorts on. Sheets over his head, not on his head. Okay, Triple K, we don't need that. Cayman. G'day, buddy. Scotty, hi, Kaz. Does a previous AVO disqualify you from security vetting? I'd imagine it may, but still go through until they say no, Scotty, because I know there's many sides to AVOs, of course, as we're finding out from people such as... what's her name? Amber Heard. Not yet, Gav. Lovely day today. I bet they're getting bloody cold in Tassie, that's for sure. Sid, man, that's great, mate. I finally found my pop's grave after 9 years looking. He's a World War II veteran. That's fantastic, mate. You know, go there, put a rock on top of his headstone. That normally is an indication, a universal indication for someone has been there. You mattered to someone. 14 Platoon, says Chris Davenport. So this photo in the background, it kind of makes sense. Here's a couple of gentlemen that are hating life under the hoochie or the poncho, as they used to call it, or the raincoat psychological, because it didn't stop anything. You know, it's like getting married and thinking that means sex on tap. It just doesn't work that way. Just Neeks, is that New Zealand for just next? I want to join Kapooka, enlist to Kapooka. When I'm 18, after a few years, had to become a sniper. Just do everything the right way, right? And there's no reason why you can't. Right. Foxy C, I'm about to buy an electric sleeping bag. Insert that, use a power bank and heats up your bag. Can't do that out in the field, mate. Also, a bivvy bag works wonders. I can't stand them. I've been stuck in one. Did enemy party a couple of weeks ago in Pucker, and my water froze. There you go. Best way to get in touch with you, Kaz, I'm not sure which Patreon to pick for a phone call, as I need some advice going forward. It doesn't matter, mate. I just put in there for preference, Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta, so you can pick your own. But Combat Demon, get in touch. Look forward to it. We've had some great information from those on the Patreon, including someone who just basically didn't pass the Carter course for SASR, unfortunately. So to that guy, you still went and had a go, and he intends on having another go. So to him, thumbs up. Lauren, chilly mornings indeed. I could imagine the sound of frost on the grass. Smash that like button, combat all Patreon tiers, get across to that bat phone. That's right. And what they're talking about there, for those that are watching this for the first time who have just come across the channel, it's not enough for me to be able to text people. It's hard enough to answer comments, because whenever I'm doing that, that means I'm not on the bat phone, bam, giving back to the people that support the channel the most, but also able to communicate in a way that doesn't have to be politically correct. They can ask whatever question off the radar and get the answers. Get on the link, which is Patreon now, and I could be talking to you as early as tomorrow. Get that done. We had a bit of a worry today. One of the gentlemen on Patreon is a little bit worried that he may not be able to get infantry because he might be going into Med Class 2 at a minimum. Normally, infantry don't take people that don't come in as Med Class 1 off the jump. Right, so just be aware of that. What was I going to have in here? I'm going to check out a video for you in a minute. But this video tonight, this stream, podcast, whatever you want to call it, it's about one platoon, the Australian Army. The intake that is about to commence, and that will capture everyone that's going in like on the last day of June, May, and then into June as winter begins. So if you're joining on the 31st, 1st, or the 2nd, then you're all going to be in the same platoon. And what you should do is not in the comments here, but the comments below once this video is over, podcast, and has had time to buffer to be able to be uploaded correctly. Then put in the stream below, in the comments below, what your date is, but please change your actual name. The Army will look across all platforms of social media. I don't know why. They know you're not trying to represent all of Army, but for some reason they get a stick up their ass for that, especially if you're a bloke. So just protect yourself there and put your date in, and it'll be great for you guys to understand you're not the only one. All right? Yeah. Anyway, winter, great choice. Probably not. Kapooka is so damn cold. I'm going to put a video up for you in a minute, and it's actually the US in Norway, the Marines. And most of the Marines are out of San Diego and also Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii. So when they hit the snow as part of the expeditionary force, the first ones to normally hit the ground other than Rangers and Special Forces, then they have to adapt quickly for their surroundings. And you're going to have to adapt as a civilian. Get off. Look like I can't play sports. Can't fight. We know that. When you get to Kapooka, you have to adopt quickly. When you get there in winter, knowing that Wagga Wagga, not a racial term, the temperature is falling in the next few days. By next Thursday, that's payday for most years, it falls down to 3 in the morning, 13 as the highest, and that doesn't mention wind chill factor or the fact that you may already be wet. And the first few weeks are the worst at Kapooka because you're doing drill. Not only are you not allowed to wear the warm weather clothing that you wish you did or wanted, because you'll be doing early morning PT, okay, doing circuit training, potentially getting wet on obstacle courses, will be getting wet on the drill square, learning how to walk, how to march, how to give salutes, how to use weapon systems, as part of your weapons lessons, prepare you safely for operating your weapon system on the range, live fire, which will be the first time for most of you because of the crazy gun laws in Australia. But almost everything is going to be freezing cold, and you don't get to choose the layers that you put on. All right? Chris Davenport, do have hearing problems after all those years in the Army? So do I. My son is going to artillery, so he's going to continue the franchise. I'm a little concerned about his hearing. Mate, it's not like the old days. They wear reactive hearing now, sound counselling, hearing protection, not just the yellow bits of shit that you used to wear when you were younger. So he should be okay. They take it very seriously because it costs the army a lot of money when they have to pay out for tinnitus. Just next, she says, because I'm not strong enough, and that's a very hard job, and because I have autism. Just next, let's go back up a bit. My mum doubts I'll make it in because I'm a girl. Okay. Well, being a female, if anything, is not a detriment. The standards are almost half that of males to make sure that you do have a chance. Autism, if it's actually, if you're on the spectrum and it's on your record, then that will make it hard. I don't know what whether you're highly, functioning or what. Maybe I do wish you the best, and understand the army, okay, has to take the best people. And if it doesn't work out for you, then I apologise for that, mate, because, it doesn't matter who anyone is. The calling can be strong in everyone. And I think there's something a little bit wacky about all of us anyway, isn't there? So let us know how it goes there. I searched up if people have autism could join, but I'll have to sign waivers and get tests to pass. Yep. Just keep us updated, mate, as Lauren said. The boss, best of luck, Nix. Yep. See, there's a lot of support. This is why I love this community team. You don't come here and cop drama. Okay, you come here and people are supportive. They'll tell the truth. You won't like everything you hear here. Okay, but you are going to get told the truth in one way or another. And if you really want the truth, then you come to the Bat Phone on Patreon and you'll hear it. Mr. Tree, g'day, Kaz. Something, considering doing Air Force security or infantryman gap year, what should I expect? I've had a look at the website and can't really find any concrete information. Well, think of Air Force security for what it is, okay? You're going to be guarding a rectangle, a vital asset, and what your job is there to do is stop special forces from coming in and slashing your throat, right? But they're going to be better than you, so you won't be able to stop them, But your demise will alert everyone else, and then you've still done your job, right? But you wear your dog tags on the outside of your shirt, play as much volleyball as you want, and all the best. I'd say come across to infantry. Don't worry about gap year. Unless you've got another job, another trade, rip the scab off and have a real go. Jono Swano, seriously good on you. There we go. Lauren saying, sometimes sadly the things we want so badly are out of reach. I imagine where you are on the spectrum will be a variable. Absolutely. We've all, as you get older, one of the things that you really want sometimes is to go back in life and be able to replay life without making the mistakes that you made. But you don't get to do that either. A part of being an adult is understanding that we're not going to get what we want. It's just sad when it is actually a function, a career that you would give your entire life with or for, and you get denied that. All right. But the Army's not a charity. They need the best people, and when you get in the military, you won't tolerate people that are lesser standard to your left or right. Okay, you'll help them if they've tried their hardest and they are normally up to standard. But if they've come in half-cooked, you won't be happy because you'll be carrying their shit as well, and that's not good enough. Aggies are the heroes we all look up to. I need a hero, says the boss. Pacadurries, my father thought I'd never pass my physical tests when I travelled to Townsville, but can't let that stop you trying. Yep, I thought I was going to cop a flogging. I really did. And my nose may make it look like I did. But yep, this story about and his own shit. I don't know, Ricky. By the way, team, when you see sometimes that your comment gets hidden, that's from YouTube. All right, that's not from me. I see you everywhere, hidden comments, but that's from YouTube. That's not from me. As you can see, I'm not going through and pressing any buttons. Well, that sounds like a good time. I'm not keen on going straight into the ADF as I can't decide between that or copper. Completely different role, Mr. Tree. Completely different role. The Army is about mateship. Okay, the police force, right, fantastic. They are the sheepdogs. of the domestic side of Australia, protecting you, or at least putting the tape around you when they turn up too late. There's nothing comparable between the police force and the army. They're not the same, as much as they sound like they would be. They're not. Chris Isaac, that's right. Somebody's crying. They'll be crying in another few days, mate, because I tell you, you don't need snow on the ground for it to be blisteringly cold. Some of the coldest days I've had in my life, right, the enemy party at Puckapunyal, okay, when I was at Kapooka, especially when you do the running through the fog there, gorillas in the mist, whether you do the pool session or whether you're doing weapons, the range, where the wind chill is going through and you have to pretend like you're totally alert the whole time, or at the School of Infantry, absolutely freezing, colder than a mother-in-law's hug. It's terrible. And you think that winter, the cold is not as bad as the heat. Bullshit. You've never really been cold until you've been at it for days at a time. Look at these guys in the background. They've just given up. They're just laying down. People say, I can't sleep. If you can't sleep, then you haven't worked. Because if you've worked hard enough, you don't sleep, you pass out. That's a fact, Jack. I've slept in water in Tully. Tully gets down to 0 degrees. It's insane. Tekapo, New Zealand. Holy shit. It's one of the coldest places in the world that doesn't necessarily have snow there, while you're freezing. Going through that glacier water. Mr. Buckaroony, he knows what it's like to be cold. Okay, Mr. Buckaroony's been a cop and he's been a soldier, and he says himself, nothing alike, I've done both jobs. Couldn't be truer spoken. And you know what? A cop doesn't make you a good soldier, but a soldier can make you a better cop. So that's the order it should be done in. You definitely need some resilience, and I think sometimes the police take them too young, and I know a couple that are too young that are in the police force right now, and when I have a talk to them, I think to myself, holy shit, I can't believe you're fixing the problems of others when you can't fix the ones you've got yourself. Peter Mayfield, the Packadurries, you can see your own breath of Kapooka during PT and winter, and because you don't have a voice box in Kapooka other than to call the time, or knock, 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 recruit casual wishing to speak to Corporal Pyre Corporal. That's the door knock procedure. Righto. It is terrible. No one gives a shit you're cold. When you go out into the frost, into winter, into the field, there is an actual saying that weather has no effect on mission. It doesn't matter if it's raining. It doesn't matter if it's boiling hot. Actually, as a matter of fact, it can for boiling hot, because then they can have the work ratio tables so that people don't go down with heat. That sort of gets flung out the door when you're on operations, but because there's an officer who's getting paid to get you from point A to point B to get the mission done, regardless of how you get there. And they try to look like they're doing the right thing, but you'll definitely be suffering at their advancement. Ricky Mayfield, where are you? Kapooka's a beautiful place, but too, Wagga Wagga, you'll be drinking at the Victory Hotel. That's where everyone's been going for over 30 years, keeping the place alive. It's a beautiful hotel, actually. I'll be going down to a Kapooka march out soon. I'll be going to a Singleton march out soon. Now, all I've got to do is get someone that I really feel attuned with, or someone that has a beautiful mother, so that I can go there and they can call me retired sergeant as well as dad. Son of In the Trenches. Nathan, hey mate, how do the ADF go about candidates applying for infantry who have had surgery, old injuries? It depends what it is, mate. If it's something that's going to come back later, they might kibosh it completely and say that you'll be cooking, or sitting on the radios, or an MP, or going to intelligence, or going to something else. Normally, when you're going for infantry, they expect you to come in Med Class 1, Med Class 2 at the worst, and that means a permanent medical downgrade where you can't get to Med Class 1, but they find it an acceptable risk for you to still apply for that. Montero, we had that good talk today. I hope that you feel a little bit better about your decision. You sounded pretty nervous. Lauren, keep asking Nathan, what's he got to say, Lauren? Where is he? Where is that lad? Nathan, Hey, mate, how do the ADF go about candidates applying for infantry who have had surgery, old injuries? Yeah. Just as we were saying then, one, they'll take you as a case by case, and from there, this will come out in the assessment session. All right, the assessment session. We're going to get back onto the topic in a minute, talking about one platoon, okay, that's about to commence their training. Devastate. Kaz, how are you, brother? I'm good, mate. I'm good. My daughter's been kicking goals. I wish she hugged me more. But other than that, mate, if she's happy and she's doing well, cross country, okay, school, sports, vice captain, and also SRC, you know, for compassion for other kids, voted by kids, which I think is fantastic. JD, hey guys, it's been a while. Good to be back. Dave enlistment is July the 12th. So you're waiting for it to get deeper into winter before you get the whole immersion experience. Fantastic. Guardian. Slav, I live in New Zealand. I want to be in a tank, but the New Zealand Army has no tanks. Don't worry about the tank stuff, mate. You know, watch a little bit of Russia and Ukraine, mate, and you might change your mind. You know, they're hardly ever cold, but they're normally on fire. Mate, our tanks don't go abroad. Okay, our Abrams, okay, they're for domestic, you know, domestic. They don't go abroad. You can go to Cav, fantastic, which is part of Armoured Corps. You can go to infantry, which are all either motorised and mechanised now, except for the 2nd Battalion Royal Australian Regiment, which is amphibious. And they'll be brothers and sisters of the Marines, work out which one's a brother and which one's a sister. But when you head off to Kapooka team, naturally it's going to be freezing cold. You're about to get there. You're about to have new brothers and sisters. You're going to be put under the hurt locker, so to speak, and you don't get to wear what you want to wear. You've got mandatory training. There's no effect on mission. There is a set timetable of training that must be met. So you can't push something back because it's raining, sleeting, almost snowing. It has to get done then, or there can be a critical shortfall that actually interferes with everyone's initial employment training. And we can't have that because why? Because that'd be a felony. And then Vanilla Ice will turn up and sort it out. You don't want that. Peace to your mama. Aussie Wonders here. Good to have you here, team. Good to have you here. I almost went crazy and bought a 3rd phone to be the members' phone. So they could send photos and different things for different competitions as a reward to members. But then I thought to myself, I can't be carrying 3 phones. I live in Penrith. I'll get arrested, won't I, bucko? Do I remember Curly? I don't know who I remember anymore, mate. I've got to ask people, do they remember me? You know, you're only able to remember a certain amount of names, you know, in life. And mine now, I almost know no one. Because I know too many people that I've never met, as well as the people on Facebook, over 4,000, you know, a few thousand on Instagram, and then, you know, over 12,800 on YouTube, and then also all the people I've ever worked with. So at the moment, yeah, I feel like an operator. The boys say hi, mate. This is Mad. Hey, Ricky. Jim Bonator. What do you think of people from other corps transferring to infantry? It doesn't happen, mate. It doesn't happen. I've never seen it happen. If you're going to do it, then do it. But normally what will happen is someone from another corps, you know, if they want to come over to infantry, they may not get released by their corps that may have spent a lot of money on them. And if it's not a corps that drives with other people, if it is something that they've spent so much money on, you know, they might say to you, no, you don't get that option. Now the Army owns you. And what I was going to say was, if your corps doesn't drive with many people, it's not a popular corps, okay, and it's hard for them to fill it, they won't release you. You know, it'll come down to Army's needs. Flabby, how you going, you fat bastard? Sorry, when you say Flabby. Hi, I'm thinking of joining the cadets. Oh, sorry, mate, you're clearly fairly young. I just don't know whether to go Air Force or Army cadets. I'd say go Army, and either or. It's all going to be good, mate. Keeps you off the streets, right? You'll learn a bit of discipline, teamwork, etc. I'd say just don't get distracted from school, because it's a dangerous time, and there's a lot of courses, special promotion courses, that can drag you away from doing your best schoolwork to advance you towards actually going into the Army or Air Force or Navy. In saying that, I believe your courses are all during school holidays, aren't they? All right. Peter Mayfield, he's talking about Curly from my Kapooka training platoon, Kaz. Good bloke, he must be, Peter? DC, that's me. G'day, Kaz. Talking about the cold. I'm planning a through walk around Tasmania. 2,700 kilometres. Should be good fun. Why would you do that, DC? Have you lost something? Just Neeks, Army Cadets is my recommendation. I'm a cadet here if you're here in Wagga. Oh, Just Neeks is actually in Wagga Wagga. So you're the Bureau of Meteorology for us right there. How cold is it? Connor Clancy. That sounds like a good name. I've started the enlistment process and I'm hoping to become a forward observer. Yep. If you become a forward observer, make sure you go for Townsville. Darwin seems like it's a little bit back to front, mate, where they've got your forward observers hanging around artillery units all the time, rather than being embedded with the people they'll actually be operating and living with, i.e. infantry, cavalry, etc. So I'd recommend going to Townsville, and I'd always recommend Townsville over Darwin, especially if you've got red hair, because, mate, one, it's hot, and two, you'll be competing with the ladies with the Marines, and the Marines are going to beat the Australians when it comes to getting the girls on the short time or short term up there, because they're a novelty, okay? Someone snitching, says Ricky. Stevie Webb, in my experience, most Air Force cadets join the Army. Okay. Cayman, the crocodile. Hey, Kaz, what's your thoughts on SFR DRS? Thinking about going that route. Look, the success rate is not high. That's the one thing I don't like about what he's talking about there, guys, is the Special Forces direct entry program, okay, which means they'll go straight from to Kapooka, then to School of Infantry. You have to be infantry to go to Commandos, and then from there going into the Commando scheme. It's like doing a degree, like doing primary school, high school, okay, and then going to university, just training. You know, I recommend go to the battalion first. You've got to be qualified infantry anyway, and then from there decide whether you want to go BAMP to SAS or want to go the other way, go to Commandos, or go the long way, go to Commandos, and then eventually go to SAS. But learn the language of weapons, the dexterity of living in a uniform, of the tactics of the rank, of the commands, of being a soldier, hunting humans, which you get taught to do in infantry. And then from there, you'll be ready made. You know, plan your journey, get on, you know, for anyone that's thinking that way, get on the bat phone and we can talk it through. You know? Jimmy, how long after assessment day, if you're successful, can you expect to be enlisted and head into Kapooka? It really depends, mate. Cav Scout is saying, it really depends on when you've got a course coming up. If you're going to Army Reserve, as soon as you've done your assessment day, you know, and they're saying BFA good to go, you should be straight away when you join the Army Reserve, be joining when you're ready to go almost to Kapooka, then straight away go and get those tax-free dollars. You know, in winter, maybe not. But turn up, be fit, be fitter than it's required. Young crowd tonight, Kaz. Lauren, you're absolutely right. It does seem like it. And hopefully it's a new crowd. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. Press like right now. We've got 70-something people on, 36 likes. That should be the passport for coming in here. I'm the only channel that does this. I'm not after your charity, okay, but I am here to help. Combat Demon. Does being prescribed an antidepressant 20 years ago when I was 9, who gives antidepressants to a 9-year-old? That didn't take, and I was only prescribed 1 week course. I can't believe you remembered it. That shouldn't be on your system, okay, mate? Don't bring it up. Let me tell you something, team. You want to join the Army? This is one thing I don't like. One, psychologists don't cure anyone. Okay? Remember that. They don't call you unless you're late to an appointment. You know, they overprescribe, they overdiagnose. I'm not saying don't go and see them because they save lives too. How do I get to that? Well, normally through a psychiatrist, you know, which has invasive sort of techniques, and even putting you in under sedation, etc. If you need to, if you're in a bad way. But what happens is they don't understand that if they prescribe you or give you a ADHD or something like that kind of diagnosis when you're younger and it's on your books and you take medication for that, guess what? You probably won't be allowed in the police force, fire brigade, army, etc. because they're going to see a history of mental illness or something that could be counterproductive to your career and then say, I'd rather not take this guy just in case. It'll make you fantastic at the lower ranks, but not necessarily a peach when it gets higher. How do I know? I believe I've got it. Diagnosed? Not. But I never used to go to doctors either. All right. And when I was younger, all we did was go out between the sun hours, from the sun come up to the sun came down, surfed, played footy, played cricket, ran, and did everything else. You know, chased the girls around playing cowboys and Indians, pretending they were Indians, go topless to be authentic. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, be careful. You know, be careful when you go and seek stuff out, because by getting the diagnosis you've got ADHD and then not taking the medication anyway, all you've done is potentially shoot holes in the side of your barrel. Having said that, I'm doing a video in the next couple of days on my ADHD. When I say that, I don't mean mine. I mean a video which is titled My ADHD, and another one about the sheepdog, the sheep, and the wolf. Okay? Antidepressants at 9. Give me a break. Yeah, I'd be talking to your parents about that one. Many outbursts. And living with ADHD, team, it's not easy. Honestly, man, I cannot handle silence. I talked needlessly, and it took me a long time to realise that what I was trying to do, okay, was basically fill the silence and communicate, because my brain moves a lot faster than most people. The thing is, it doesn't mean it is, it's not necessarily logical thinking. It's not prioritised thinking. You know, it's just 9,000 revs a minute, you know, and I can't stop it, which is the reason why when I'm not going 100 miles an hour, then I'm normally sucking off the invisible man. Like so. I know, 2 speeds. Kane. Hey, Kaz, currently mid-applying for Army, but have been given a Med Class 4. That doesn't sound good. For a past surgery on my shoulder. I'm getting reports done by shoulder specialists for my med appeal. Any tips for the appeal? The only thing that works with medical appeals, mate, is new medical evidence. It doesn't matter what anyone writes. Jordan Peterson can write a letter for you. It won't make any difference. It has to be new information that says, hey, you can do it. Normally with a needs assessment that says, okay, this guy is not in as bad a position as you think. I'm going to put something on here for you for a second, team. Let's have a look at this. Where are we? I just can't see comments at the moment, guys. Just wait 2 seconds. So, what was the video? What's the video I want you to see? Okay, here we go. Behind the scenes. Hope we're still there, team. Of Marine and cold weather training. This belongs in the trenches, team, for the simple reason that yep. I'll turn the volume off for 2 seconds. It is pertinent to you, okay, because there's some areas in there while I was doing the research for this tonight. Okay. Where I can stop and react to this and give you an actual response. Okay, so give me a couple of seconds here. And what I'll be able to do is give you a complete understanding of what we're looking at. This is the channel from Isaac, Chris Isaac. Somebody's crying. So what we're going to do is we're going to give this guy a like. He's a good-looking lad. You know, you'd probably swipe right if you're a lady, I guess. He speaks well, and this is one of the things that I wish that Australia was allowed to do, was have a YouTube channel as long as you were able to create content and you were held accountable for actions or things you said that might bring the military into ill repute. If we can be trusted to hold a weapon, okay, in a foreign country and carry it through past children in villages to save people's lives, to close with the enemy, kill, catch them, seize and hold, ground, repel, attack by day and night, regardless of season, weather, terrain, then why can't we be trusted with a YouTube channel or to have a voice? It doesn't make sense to me. Here we go. Marines. Can we hear this? Well, I'm just seeing if you can hear it. No audio. Wait 2 seconds. Wait 2 seconds. Okay. Display speakers. Wait a second. I'm actually wondering where this actually goes. Background sound. Speakers. Microphone. Cringe. We might have to can this one. I hope not. Wait a sec. Nope, not that one either. That one would have been interesting too. I have to come back and get that sorted. Sorry, guys. Basically what it was, it showed the Marines that went from either San Diego, as I said before, or Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii. And basically what happened was they were tasked to go now and assist as an expeditionary team to train in Norway to prepare for future potential situations with NATO against the situations occurring in the crisis over there at the moment. Now, when you join the military, you don't know what's happening after you sign, bam, your enlistment papers. You can be asked to go to heat, Middle East. You can be asked to go to the jungles. You can go to where the snow is. No one asked you whether you wanted to. You're going there. So what you'll go and do is do hit-outs, where you'll go and do mission rehearsal exercises, but you need to be able to do every single thing in those environments that you can do in a normal, dry, arid environment. So your real enemy is not always human elements of the HR. It is going to be the actual elements themselves from nature. Nature almost takes as many casualties as we saw, on the Eastern Front, during the major wars, as what the actual bullets did in the enemy. So you need to be aware of that and understand that you don't have the ability to say no, And the most uncomfortable you're ever going to get is normally at the School of Infantry. The reason is you normally get hit by 2 seasons while you're there. You're usually coming out of the arse end of one and then going into the other. If you start in January, you're laughing. You're really laughing. By the time you come out of there, although you'll get the heat, you'll get the beautiful feel as you come out of summer. But you don't get to wear your raincoat. You don't get to wear your jumper. And that video would have explained there when they took off on patrols because they were in the snow, they weren't able to wear all of the layers that you'd normally wear for survival in cold weather climate. Just like when it gets to below zero in Kapooka or School of Infantry, you have to wear the limiting amount of clothes because you're already going to have equipment on you and you don't want your body to overheat when all of a sudden you're going faster than the pace you can maintain, which is the lower half of all platoons. Peter Costi, Skippy Badge. It's Gory. G'day, Gory. Hey, Kaz, I've got an assessment session on the 20th of June. Righto. Well, that means that you're going to be doing that while it's already too late for those that are joining for one platoon that are going to be already at Kapooka, and they'll be in they'll be out of red tabs. They should be they might still be in red tabs. They will be. They're probably in yellow tabs by the time you get to Kapooka. My doctor said they will give me a clearance if they request it because there are more issues with whatever happened when I was 9. And there hasn't been any issues since then. I don't know who would give those sort of antidepressants to a 9-year-old. I wouldn't have even thought it was legal. Celestia, 1980, nice name. Too long for here, but most important, I trained. I got reports from physio. I actually required myself doing and passing all exercises required for the physical before Kapooka. Normally, a needs assessment that's what can happen when you're in the army as well. When they start to look at what med class you're going to be, you want to go to Kapooka, which is basically, it's almost fake news because it makes it look like that is the standard required to be a soldier. It's not. It's far below the standard required to be a soldier. And I'm not talking about infantry. I'm talking about all corps, right? V2 Racing. Cheers, Kaz, for out bush and land sand and flies down under. Yeah, mate, almost everything hates us. Devastate. What's red and yellow tabs? When you go to Kapooka, the first few days, you are going to be in your pre-week, which means no tabs whatsoever. So when people see you looking goofy as hell, they realise give the gazelle on its first day of walking a break. And then you get into red tabs, so when people see you, they know what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, where you're allowed to be, where you're not allowed to be. And you can be identified from a mile away, so people know what they're dealing with. Okay, then you go to blue tabs. Blue tabs means you're going to get a few more luxuries. They'll give you liberty to go up to the boozer, to have a Coke, to have a alcoholic ginger beer if they've got it there. To have a couple of beers, but they'll tell you how many. It's really to give you a chance to stuff up and see if you will. Because then all they do then is then take off privileges that you've been given, or you can get yourself charged or get on the radar, and you don't want that. And then after that is yellow tabs. After yellow tabs, that tells us you're in the field phase, okay, and it's also in the march out phase. Now you've got a lot more responsibility put on you to perform. You're going to be held to account for the things you do and do wrong, but you're almost at the end, and you're going to start to click up with those that are going on your core IET training, initial employment training. Don't try to do that too much, because at the end of the day, familiarity breeds contempt, and the last thing you want to do is actually get to the stage where you end up befriending someone too early at the expense of not sticking up for your section, which is still your priority until you get out of there. Druid, where are we? Peter, Kaz, do reservists also earn the skip? No, they don't get a Skippy badge ever after completing IETs, or strictly ARA only, mate. And, ARA don't get a Skippy badge either until they've finished their IET training successfully. The only people that do get it without earning it is officers. Officers get it at the end of RMC. They don't have the right to have the Skippy badge on, but they get it prematurely, and they shouldn't. Because what if they failed their ROBC? What happens then? Dustin Jamie, congrats, Adam Cameron. What's he done? What's Camo done? Huey Duncan, my OSB tomorrow, all prepped. Is the leadership culture really as bad as you hear in the media? Hugh, we've got some fantastic officers in the Australian Army. Some fantastic officers. Okay, what we're not seeing, but is some officers taking responsibility, okay, for the military when they are the head of the organisation. If the morale in any organisation is down, you blame the head. You know, if sales are down, if share price is down, you blame the leadership. They don't do that. They just seem to pass it down and be basically kicking rocks down the road for the soldiers, the ones that do the dying, for the ones that do the sweating, for the ones that do the sacrifice. And that's not the Australian way. Don't worry about anything to do with the election that's just happened. It's not going to affect you at Kapooka. It's not going to affect you at the School of Infantry or the battalions. It's way above your pay grade, so don't worry about that. You read the behaviour policy. Okay. Brady, make friends with someone before their haircut, then search for them for a week. How true is that? How true is that? I haven't been sniffing any powder either, team. I've just got a big nose, so when I get a cold, it takes a few months to leave. Have we heard anyone here? That's actually joining the army the end of this week? Not looking forward to SALs, 30-second showers. Justin, it sucks. And for the really young blokes, pretending to shave like there's actually something on your face, that's an anomaly too. Lightfoot, if sales are down, you blame the captain. Bam. No truer word said, Lightfoot. Well said. Well said. The OSB, Officer Selection Board. If you're ever going to be going to the military team and you're going to be an officer, get on the Patreon. You know, absolutely. Because we've got 100%, I won't call it 100% success rate, but 100% of people that have sat the OSB, you know, have come back, that have been on the bat phone, have come back and said, thank God they were part of it. I'll speak to you an hour just to get you ready. And then you'll say, Kaz, okay, enough. I've got to go. And I'll go, okay, all right. Cedric, what do we expect when we get to off the bus? You may not hear yelling. G'day, Aussie Wonder. You may not hear yelling. You're going to get a strict tone, told to move from here to there. They're not going to be your friend. You know, they're just going to give you instruction. Right? From there, you'll be allocated the lines where you'll be taken there. You'll be given a brief. You'll be told to stand on both sides of the corridor, where they or first they're going to take everything off you as well. You might even get that night, depending on what time you turn up, you might be in tracksuits that are waiting on your bed that may not even fit you. You know, and then some of these questions will be better answered actually by people in the chat that have done it very, very recently. Aussie One Kaz, what's the go with the accommodation once posted to a battalion? You'll normally live in, you'll be under Defence Housing Authority, where you'll live in for a given amount of time until you are deemed to be adult enough to be able to live off barracks and not be a liability to the army in someone else's civilian property, where you'll then be given rental assistance as you live with other soldiers or make the mistake and create the first divorce in the making. You know, I would recommend move out with guys for a while before you move out with a lady, so that you can actually learn to start washing for yourself, cleaning for yourself, doing all that. Otherwise, you're going to feel like a crab that's been dropped in the hot water. And if you've never lived, okay, with a woman before, okay, except for your mother, who did everything for you, then you're not going to do real well when you're just kicking your shit around expecting them to clean it, you know, while you're on the Xbox. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, but you can pay for food, or you can opt for food not paid for, you know, and then you've got to source your own meals yourself. Hugh Duncan, He's my mate. It's a shame it's virtual. I think I can stand out more face to face. Hugh, you're exactly right. There is never an excuse for it to be online. These are people they're training to be the leaders of other humans, for other soldiers, of volunteers. What are they scared of? Getting a cough, the cold, COVID? Really? Does anyone know anyone that's actually passed away that wasn't over the age of what do you call it? Expectation of life anyway? It's tragic when anyone passes away, no matter what it is. But we've got to stop pretending this is something that's chopping us down like wheat. It's not. And you're in a position where if we get caught in a minefield, let alone COVID, we're supposed to pretend that it's not there, fight through the minefield regardless of casualties. Did you know that? I've walked out of a minefield before. It wasn't a good feeling. But I figured if it goes wrong, all of a sudden I'm going to have people around me saying, it's okay, Kaz. It's okay. Hold on. But it's okay. I'm here. It's a lot better for you to go and get vetted out on an OSB officer selection board when you're surrounded by other like-minded candidates so they can actually see, can you lead? Do you have leadership? What do you like under pressure? What do you like when you don't know that you're being watched? Are you able to listen? Do you take commands well from others? Can you take criticism? Are you able to do a peer-on-peer evaluation? You go, that guy, is not good enough yet. Can you do that? But they can't get that by doing virtual. When they ask you, are you a leader? Tell me why. Tell me some things that are negative traits about you. Who inspires you? Give me 3. You can't give me any. So is this a personality disorder? Give me some evidence of you being a leader. If you can't, why'd you come? Why do you want to be a leader? Are you a reluctant leader, or do you just think that you can do a better job, or you just not like getting told what to do? I don't know, Ted Bundy. Tell me. You're exactly right. It's gory. And the thing is, a lot of people don't understand. With civilians, most of the time, there's no leadership. It's management. Leadership, it's not a monopoly kept by army. But normally leadership and managerial skills are completely different things, but you can have both at the same time, can't you? But normally you don't see leadership, because it is, normally leadership is someone who is at a peer level that chooses to follow you by choice. Management means they've got a position, you'll do what you're told, they get paid more, and there's nothing you can do about it. There is some good questions tonight. A lot of respect. I like it. Kane. Hey, Kaz and team. Mr. P, a.k.a. Grandad. There you go. Mr. P, I hope you're healing well, mate. Has anyone got anything to say to those that are going in one platoon? Other than good luck, enjoy winter. I hope you don't get some sort of lab experiment in the bed beside you that looks at you with an open mouth and just gazes at you while you're not off to sleep. Then you wake up and they're standing over you like Paranormal Activity 1. You're going to make some great mates. You're going to make some great friends, but you're also going to have some people you never want to see again in your life, but they become the butt of stories until you get to initial employment training, and then rinse and repeat, it all happens again. One of the coldest things you can do other than a weapons lesson is a drill lesson. Standing still for 40 minutes at a time. Going to the range also can suck. When you're not firing, you're standing there, sometimes in the rain, wet, cold, reload, get on the ground. Okay, defensive operations in the School of Infantry, it's pissing down rain. Am I bailing water out of this hole, or am I digging it? And then you got to sleep in it. It's great. I can handle being wet. What I can't handle is being muddy and wet. That sucks. When you get into your sleeping bag and you can feel the mud on your boots is just lining the inside of your sleeping bag. Some of the things you need is the little umbrella. You need that for many reasons. You're not going to get laughed at. Salami is great. Keeps you. It's a friend. In those cold, dark nights, because it puts something warm on the inside of your guts. Not from the back passage. Righto. Noodles, fantastic. You can cook for you and your buddy. You always cook at least 2 packets in there. Soy sauce is the best friend that goes with these noodles. Mega rang, because the actual spices will heat up your body core. Peter, Kaz got me assessment day on June 1st for infantry reserves. I've been told that ITs will be done at Singleton with a total of 34 days being needed. I couldn't imagine that. Army Reserve doesn't get trained at School of Infantry. You know, the last thing we need is our bookings to be taken up by Army Reservists. You know, I couldn't imagine that'd be where it's at. Yeah, it's not as intense as you think. It might be know the basics and you'll be suitable. They'll give you advice after. Don't try and get ahead of the game. Don't get ahead of the game. Just stay where they tell you what to do, where to be, when to do it, how long to get it done by, and what the standard is, and you'll be right. Don't overthink it. 70 tuned in and only 11 likes. Help the channel's algorithms, people. I can see 63 likes. See, he is bossy, this dude. He was born in the USA, in Australia. 4x4 driver went on the drill square. Make sure you wiggle your toes to keep circulation going. Good one. And also look at the trees or the green, as it helps you from passing out. For some reason, people want to hold their breath on the parade ground. And when you learn 5 lessons in a day, it is torture. Absolute torture, because every one of those is at least 40-minute session. 40 minutes is a long time when you're standing on boots that don't feel like they fit properly and potentially wet socks. It's gory. Hugh, yeah, I've been told it's a lot more relaxed than you'd think. Good to know more details for the U session over the phone. It was casual, more like talking to a mate. But be careful, because you can be lured into a trap of familiarity, because they want to hear. Remember, they're not after a single good thing about you. They're looking for disqualifying factors. Now, that's what they're looking for. Something you do wrong. Make sure you look at your background too. Now, you don't have the problems like we used to now. You've got Pornhub. We used to have Black Label in the bookcase behind us. You get caught out. Never be the first, never be the last. Try to be the middle range when in a call out, I've been told. I like being first. I used to volunteer for things too, because if I volunteer for something today, then tomorrow they might cut me some slack, and that happened too. And I used to be in the platoon with the boss, you know, and he was senior to me, not by much, but he was senior to me. Went to Somalia, you know, and he got that job, and it wasn't just because he was a good soldier and he looked good carrying the gun with fat man's webbing. You know, I'm not saying he was fat, I'm saying fat man's webbing is what we used to carry, his fighting ensemble. But he also had a man's man aura about him, despite the fact that he's a lot younger than me, right? So your personality will get you a long way. I hate saying good things about him. It'll go to his head quickly. Adam Cameron is not where it's all. There are other locations for infantry reservists that aren't Singo. I've never seen an infantryman ever go to Singleton unless they were on the ROBC or sub 2 for sergeant. I've never seen an army reservist go there other than to be a enemy party. We've only got so much area that we can actually train our regular soldiers, okay, on the over across the Broke Road. But maybe they've allowed a few in. I don't know. Should I be worried about losing my dream career for being prescribed that antidepressant 20 years ago? Combat Demon, I don't know. I really don't know. It might not even come up. Don't go in there saying, here's a list of things that you don't know about me. It's not a confession session. If you don't smoke weed, but you've tried it once before, then you've never tried it. The people that are talking to you will not be there at your PFA. Okay, when in doubt, tell them, I'm good to go. However, there was a PFA the other day that was run in Brisbane, okay, and a guy got 2 on the beep test, okay, and could only do 3 or 4 push-ups. They should have told him, never reapply and fuck off, you know, because that's wasting people's time, and that's a felony. Adam Cameron, I do have a motorbike license. Should I let him know? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. We might get out of here in a second, team. This was all about just letting those know. And we might put a quick 3-minute video out tomorrow for those who are going to be joining in winter, enlisting in winter, so you can actually find yourselves in that video in the comments section so you can see who else is going. But do remember, change your name. Do not have your actual name ever, okay, on social media if you look at going in the Air Force, Army or Navy in Australia, because, pardon me, they look down on it quickly. She railed me when I mentioned my girlfriend asked how my childhood was and gave me some pretty tough scenarios. A lot of it was to do with facing adversity and dealing with struggles. Be confident. You've got to be confident because you've got to be a problem solver. Yep. Vin, when you get your new leather boots, fill them up with hot water, leave it till lukewarm, tip the water out and wear them in, and you won't get blisters. Yeah, we used to do that with the black boots. I never did it with any boots after that. You know, and there's second skin. Some people, for some reason, their feet are allergic to having shoes on. I swear to God. Their feet would blister like hot hands on hot plates. But I never really had a problem with it. I get hot spots, but 4x4, Adam, they'll ask if you have any licenses and you'll be surprised how many don't have one. That's true. You can do your 109 driving course while you're in, depending on what corps you're at, that's for sure. Thanks for all the good advice tonight, Kaz. No worries, Lauren. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for all our directors that help us. If you're going to become a member or you want to get on to Patreon, the link is below, team. This channel is eventually going to go towards moving away from military, because all we're simply doing is exactly the same videos almost repetitively over and over and over again. And I've been out of the Army now nearly 7 years, I realise. I got out in May 2015. Okay, and here I am now still making videos. I don't want to look like I'm trying to be the king of the kids or a weirdo or even worse, an imposter. You know, but remember, you could still get advice from a soldier that was at World War I, and there'd be relevant information that he could give you on today, because the principles of warfare don't change. Technology does, sure. Ensemble does, sure. But even now, the Americans have got a weapon that has just made body armor redundant. So, go figure. I'm going with a firearm license. Met a guy who couldn't get more than 4 on the beep test. He should have been told, see you later. Okay, guys, let's get out of here. Let's wish one platoon, okay, that are about to go in the Australian Army all the best. There's a bunch of them. They'd be nervous at the moment. They're all probably overthinking, preparing. What do I take? Take a photo of the best looking girl you can, of the nicest looking grandparent, even if it's not yours. And if you don't have a mum and a dad, have a picture of some anonymous people and a dog and a cat, and then put them up in your locker so that they think that, okay, you're more of a person than what you are a number. And they might just well go easy on you, thinking, I don't want to look in the face of those people in another 13 weeks and have them thinking of you, the arsehole that treated my kid, son or daughter badly. So take it easy. Enjoy the cold. There'll be no mercy, except from Kaz. But I'll say it with a snigger. Have a good time. And the conclusion of this is basically enjoy the winter, because one platoon, you won't have a choice, so you've got to get with it. See you later. Take it easy, Chris Isaac. Everyone, somebody's crying. Liam Smith. See you later. Hit like, subscribe. See you around. Bye.